Well, what do you know about that? Welcome to Birdland. We're so happy you're here, and I'm so happy these guys are here because, we did an earlier show, 5:30 show, and then we had a dinner break, and sometimes guys don't come back. Is everybody here? If whoever's not here, please raise their hand. Okay, good. So they didn't come back. Very good. We're the Nighthawks, music of the 1920s and 30s. I'm your band leader for this segment of the show, and our name is Vince Giordano. Thank you. So I think, are we broadcasting tonight? Okay, we're on the air also. So to all you people out there and I don't know, YouTube land, thanks for tuning in. And we're here on West 44th Street in the great city of New York City. And Mondays and Tuesdays right here. And we opened up with a little fanfare written by Jimmy McHugh. He wrote I Can't Give You Anything But Love, Baby, and Sunny Side of the Street, on and on and on. But he decided to write something for the Universal Pictures called the Universal Picture Fanfare. We like to do it because it features our multi-talented percussionist, Mr. Uri Zelig, that plays the timpani. Give him a little timpani there, Uri. Thank you, a little timpani. Okay, that's enough. Okay, that's it. And then we segued into a hot stomp, which we could use some hot. Here, I think it's 17 degrees outside, called Business in F. Any musicians out there? That was in the key of F. There you go. And it was originally played by the Gene Cardos Band. Archie Blyer wrote it and arranged it, and featured a little mini feature for this wonderful band leader and saxophonist, Mr. Chris Byers. Chris Byers, they're leading us. There you go. The last time I saw Chris Byers, he was on a movie set with us on Killers of the Flower Moon, and he was learning to play bassoon right on the show, and he eventually learned it. That's how long the film take went. Yeah, good. Anyway, so how's your bassoon? Forget it. You don't talk about the bassoon. We're going to go back to 1929 right now and play a song that Benny Goodman had a great solo on it. He was playing with a band named Ben Pollock right here in New York, and Benny Goodman was still a teenager doing some fantastic work, mainly with Ben Pollock at the time, and it's a tune that Dan Levinson transcribed and is going to be featured on the clarinet. It's called Bashful Baby. 1, 2, 1, 2. Such a bashful baby, you're cute as you can be, bashful baby, you're just the type for me, I'm in love with you, I say you love me too, bashful baby, how about a little kiss, bashful baby, I can't go on like this, got my heart bumping apart, don't be bashful baby with me. Bashful Baby, written by Abner Silver and Cliff Friend. And that was John Kelso playing some nice trumpet there, the original Jimmy McPartland solo. And the Benny Goodman solo was done by the fellow who transcribed this off the recording, and that's Dan Levinson. All right. Now, one of the things in the Nighthawk band is I have the fellas talk a little bit on what they've been doing on outside things, new things they've created, new projects, all kinds of wonderful stuff. And we call it the Nighthawk Home Shopping Network. And the first person to get into the spotlight on this is Dan Levinson. Yay!
Thank you very much, Vince. Those of you who were at our earlier show are probably thinking, Dan didn't play the same clarinet solo he played on the last show. And you're absolutely right. That was because on the first show, I played the unissued take 3 from a test pressing, and on this show, I played take 2. That's right.
Hey, come on, I'm double parked.
Okay, well, I'd just like to mention I have a couple of albums. Well, we have a couple of albums. Vince and John and I recorded an album in tribute to the great Chicago jazz pioneers of the 20s. Back in 1992, produced by George Avakian. It's finally available on vinyl and CD at your nearest record store. And here, also on vinyl and CD, a tribute to Bix Beiderbecke that we did, John and Vince and I, 10 years later. Newly reissued with additional material. Both are available right back there. Thank you, Vince.
Thank you, Dan Levinson. All right. Well, our next two tunes, we're going to do a little shop and compare, a little contrast. Most people know of the Jimmy Lunsford Band as this, really high-energy swinging band in the 1930s. But he really got his start back in 1930 when he recorded for Victor, and his band was called Jimmy Lunsford and his Chickasaw Syncopators. I'm not kidding you. I read it off the record. And Eddie Wilcox was the composer of this song. He played the piano and the arranger, and it featured Willie Smith on the alto, who went on to great big things working with Harry James and so many people. We recorded it on our Stomp Off record. Here is Sweet Rhythm from 1930. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4. That's Peter Yaron at the piano. Sweet Rhythm, played by the Jimmy Lunceford Band back in 1930. That was transcribed by our good friend Jan Stolba from Czechoslovakia. Yes, Jan Stolba. We always love Jan Stolba in the Czech Republic. And that wonderful alto solo that was done originally by Willie Smith was done. He couldn't make it tonight. Anyway, Will Anderson, another Willie. Will Anderson there on the alto. There you go. Now, Will, I understand you have something to say on the Nighthawk Home Shopping Network.
Yes, thank you, Uncle Vince.
Who's out there, man?
Thank you, Uncle Vince. Well, I did want to quickly announce that you may notice that a lot of artists these days are not making CDs. They're going back in time and making LPs. So I decided to follow that trend and go even further back in time to the 1400s of the Gutenberg printing press. So I wrote a book called Songbook Summit, 15 Pioneers of American Sound, and it's got chapters on Benny Goodman, Artie Shaw, Irving Berlin, Duke Ellington, Benny Goodman, Lady Gaga? No, anyway, check that out up front. And finally, I did want to quickly announce that my brother Peter and I are going to be leading our very own show here at Birdland this coming Sunday, upstairs at 5:30, and it's going to be called Big Band Royalty, tribute to Duke Ellington and Count Basie and the King of Swing. So come check that out. The reason I lead my own band is because with this band, I never know if I'm going to get fired.
Oh, my. Wow. The truth comes out. All right. Well, thank you, Will. As you can hear, we played that wonderful Jimmy Lunceford selection from 1930. Well, here, 4 years later, Jimmy Lunceford's here in New York, and he's playing at the Cotton Club, and he makes one of his first great masterpiece recordings, something called Jazznocracy. I have no idea what this means, but it's called Jazznocracy, written and arranged by Will Hudson. 1, 2, 1, 2. It ain't over until Uri bangs the cymbal. That's Jazznocracy. Some great solos there by Sam Chess on the trombone. Chris Byers playing some nice tenor. And our lead trumpet player, Joe Boga. Yay! And Joe Boga is here Mondays and Tuesdays with the Nighthawks, and Wednesdays he's here again, but with the Dave Ostwald Louis Armstrong Eternity Band. So got to check that. 5:30. It's a great show. And speaking of Louis Armstrong, because we like to talk about Louis Armstrong, you folks know who Louis Armstrong is, right? Okay, that's a good start. As I said, in the previous months, lady came and said, "Is that the lady? Sorry, is that the man who was first on the moon?" I said, "No, that's another Armstrong." But we want to tell you about this wonderful place in Queens called the Louis Armstrong House Museum. Has anyone been there? Oh, okay, good. That's a good start. That's a good start. You got to go see it, okay? You came to Birdland. That's a good step. But then you got to go see Pops's house and all the great artifacts, and you really feel great. Both our trumpet players have been there, along with all of us, and actually got a chance to play Louis's wonderful golden horn, both Joe and John Eric Kelso. Here's a tune that Louis sort of changed turned a lot of heads back in 1928. He took this tune that his mentor, his kind of musical father, Joe Oliver, also known as King Oliver, and he said, "Hey, let's record one of the King's songs, Papa Joe, as he called him, and it's called the West End Blues." And with the cadenza and the great blues feeling that Louis did, it was a real turning point in his life, as it still is for us to play it. Here's John Kelso and the West End Blues. Oh, you rascal now. Yeah, man, how those clarinet guys? Rascals. That's Peter Yaron doing Earl Father Hines. All right, John. How about John Kelso there on that wonderful solo? Nice. Now, John, I know you have something to announce on the Nighthawk Shopping Network, so the mic and the spotlight is all yours.
Thanks, Vince. Yes, I've been leading a band at a place called the Ear Inn, which is down on Spring Street, one of the oldest bars in New York. We've been there for 17 years, and we call ourselves the Ear Regulars. It was a natural. And we're delighted to say we now have a CD live at the Ear Inn, and it just happens to be available in the back next to the other albums of various sorts.
All right, John Kelso. So go catch him on Sunday nights and check out his merch over there. Nice solo by Sam Chess. And hey, what'd you think of those crazy clarinets with the megaphones? Ooh, they're nice. They're nice. Very unique. They didn't have them on the original date, but we decided to jazz it up here just in case Martin Scorsese comes in and needs something for his new film, you know, or something. I don't know. You never know. And I just love Peter Yaron's interpretation of the great Earl Father Hines. Wonderful. Yeah. And, you know, Uri has all these great big things. He's got a vibroharp. He's got big tom-toms and bells. You forgot about that. See, I told you. And his timpani. But one of the smallest things that he carries in his vest pocket is this weird little instrument that was used on the original recording by Zooty Singleton. This is not the exact one. It's another one. And they're called Baccarat cymbals. I'm not kidding you. And I'm not doing Chico Marx, too. Hey, give me a little Baccarat. It's really what they call them. So, Uri, can you give us a demonstration of Baccarat? Yeah, there it is. So when you hear the original recording, you'll know what that is. In my youth, I used to sneak into bars, not to drink or meet ladies, but steal ashtrays so that I could get that sound, putting the two ashtrays together. It's a long story. And I'm sorry, I got to repeat it to my psychiatrist. But anyway, for years, people have asked me, when are you going to record the West End Blues? Well, we finally did, and here is the work, and it looks like a LP, and it feels like an LP, even smells like an LP. But it's actually recorded at 78 RPM. What? Yeah, I know. It's hard to believe, but that's the only way it came out. So if you buy this album, which I hope you do, you got to make sure your turntable has 3 speeds, 33, 45, or 78. Or if it doesn't have the 78, you'll put it on, and everything will sound very slow like this, and it'll sound like a Fred Flintstone. But anyway, we also want to announce that our second album has come out too. Now they look the same, but this has got a reddish and this is a blue cover, and they're both at 78 RPM. What can I tell you? I didn't market it, but I'm happy to be here. Okay, we're going to move right along and play a song, a very obscure song that was done by members of the Ben Pollack band. Ben Pollack had this fantastic array of musicians in his band. And one was Larry Binion on the tenor sax. Jimmy McPartland was playing the cornet. He's the guy that replaced Bick Spiderbeck in the Wolverines. Jack Teagarden on trombone, and young Benny Goodman. And it's a tune called the Whoopy Stomp. Guys, you ready to play the Whoopy Stomp? Let me hear Whoopy. Okay, that's good. That's close enough. All right, 1, 2, 1, 2. Oh man, the whoopy stomp. They don't write them like they used to, thank goodness. If we have any musicians out there, only 2 chords were used on that, A flat and E flat. So good to practice with, I guess. The whoopy stomp. Whoopee, we don't play it again until next year. There you go. The next song was featured originally in a film called The King of Jazz with Paul Whiteman. And Milton Ager and Jack Yellen wrote this wonderful piece. And it's a big showstopper in the film. And it's fast, too. It's really fast. And Whiteman recorded it fast, and Jack Hilton over in England did so. And Fletcher Henderson later had a very fast version, too. But there's this fellow named Leo Reisman, and he originally was a society band leader from Boston. He came down, and he had a different approach. He said, I'm going to do Happy Feet really slow. And we've played it before, and people say, why is it so slow? I said, well, that's because that's what Leo Reisman played it at. So what are you going to do? Bubber Miley, the wonderful Duke Ellington trumpet player, had just left the Ellington band. He wanted to freelance, get his own band, and somehow Leo Reisman connected with him and said, hey, you want to be on this date? And I, sure. So we're going to play this Happy Feet version from 1930. Like I said, Bubber could not make this date either, so we got Joe Boga going to play. So it's Boga Miley or Bubber Miley, whatever.
Bubba Boga.
Bubba, there you go. Okay, here it is, Happy Feet. 2, 1, 2, 3, 4. Happy feet, give them a low down beat, and they begin dancing. I've got those 10 little tapping toes. When I hear a tune, I can't control my dancing heels to save my soul. Weary blues can't get into my shoes, 'cause my shoes refuse to ever grow weary. I keep cheerful on an earful of music sweet. I've got those happy feet. Okay. Joe Boga there. And that wonderful Happy Feet. Barbara Miley. Wow. Check out Barbara Miley. He had a band later on. He left us all too early. A lot of those jazz musicians, well, they didn't take care of themselves, like Vic Spiderbeck and Jimmy Harrison and Barbara Miley. Barbara Miley had a band called Barbara Miley and His Mileage Makers. All right, it kind of works. But anyway, there you go. We're going to put the scores away right now and play what we call traditional jazz, old-time freewheeling stuff. Well, you haven't heard it yet. Wait. So, John Kelso, what have you got to lay on us tonight?
Can we play Mandy, Make Up Your Mind?
Ooh.
Or no?
Not tonight.
Not tonight.
Not when we're broadcasting. I'm fear the jazz police might come after us.
Okay.
You know?
How about another M lady named Margie?
Margie, okay. That sounds like a good one. In the People's Key of F?
Yeah.
All right, now you're talking. A little safer, a little safer.
Sure.
1, 2, 1, 2. Andy Stein. Margie, I'm always thinking about you, Margie. I'll tell that world I love you. Don't forget your promise to me. I have bought almond ring and every Margie, you've been my inspiration. Days are never blue or green or white or yellow. After all is said and done, there's only one, my bass saxophone. What a night. That's Margie. And that was Will Anderson on the clarinet, John Kelso on the trumpet. And Sam Chess, you had some interesting sounds coming out of the trombone there. Yeah, show us what made this night so different on your trombone.
This night was different because
Yeah.
I used the straight mute.
A straight mute. Wow. You got all kinds of mutes there, right?
I have a few.
Okay.
Would you like to hear it?
I'd like to hear the straight mute by itself. And yeah, okay. Okay. And sometimes you use the megaphone too. Can we hear the megaphone?
The megaphone.
Yeah, let's see what that sounds.
Warm it up yet.
You haven't warmed it up yet? It's okay. It's out in the cold. We got the antifreeze. Go ahead. Oh man, that's fantastic. Wow. But what happens if you don't use the straight mute or the megaphone? What happens? ¿Qué pasa?
Just normal, it sounds like this.
Yeah. Oh man. Okay, keep using those wonderful devices. The man of a million sounds. There he is, Sam Chess. Sam Chess. All right, nice. And now let's see. We don't have too many solos for the guitar or the banjo player in the band because it's a big band. But when we play our trad jazz numbers, we let him play wonderful solos. And he's got something to announce on the Home Shopping Network too. The Nighthawk. It's Arndt Arntzen. Do it, Arndt.
Actually, I do have a legitimate announcement to make, which is that I just became a dad.
Oh man! Wow.
As of, as of 15 minutes ago, I was just informed.
Man.
I got to make a living. She understands.
Yeah.
Anyway, but to support my growing family, I am selling albums for sale at the back table there. A vinyl album as well as a CD called Keep Your Sunny Side Up. And Vince Giordano is on it, as well as the great Danny Tobias on trumpet. And they're sold with a guarantee, which is that if you buy the album and you take it home and you listen to it and you don't quite like it, well, you can just send it back to me, and then I'll send you an album that I don't like.
All right.
And that's fair.
Sounds
right?
like a good deal.
Exactly.
I never
Thank
heard
you.
that on the Home Shopping Network. Thank you, Arn Arnson. Check that out. Our wonderful pianist has been playing Earl Father Hines and some of his own licks, and you name it. He's just covering all the bases over there. But once in a while, that's still not enough for him. He likes to get up and play a hot solo on this classical instrument called the celeste or the celesta, and that's Peter Yaron. Yeah. And there was a lot going on, but can we hear the celeste by itself?
You might recognize this little.
Okay. All right. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Oh, that's great. And, most people know the first part, but that second part, that little glissando, that's actually a song I wrote. That's my musical talent. And it happened back in the 70s when I was doing TV commercials. And the whole plot was that Mom bought brand new furniture, and her little son came home with all kinds of foodstuffs, hot dogs and ketchup and mustard and all that stuff, and spilled it all on this beautiful new. And you know how TV moms used to get really mad. But the voiceover said, "Don't worry, Mom. We have the miracle spray." And stain's gone. So that little composition that I wrote while I was for ASCAP, I later switched it over to BMI. It's bringing me all kinds of residuals, and my cat and 2 kittens went to college. Pay for that. Okay. Thank you. Thank you for laughing. Anyway, if you can believe that, I'd like to sell you my solid gold Timex $35 watch. This instrument that I was playing around with is called a bass saxophone. Now, it's not the biggest saxophone made. They make contrabass, and I think even a bigger one. But for this band, it's good enough, and it's not as good as what these guys play in the front. But well, you gotta be humble. You little humble pie. You drop it on the couch, stain's gone. Anyway, right next to me, we have a wonderful treat having this gentleman play with us tonight. We haven't seen him in a long while, but he's playing all these great solos. That's Mr. Uri Zelik. Yeah, give him a big hand. Nice. Okay. And finally, our last person to be talked about here in this little expose is a great musician. He plays violin and he plays saxophones. He arranges, and he's recorded with and played with Garrison Keillor, Bob Dylan. He's in the new Bob Dylan movie, by the way. Sir Paul McCartney, Asleep at the Wheel. But right now, tonight, he's here with his phono fiddle and Stroh violin. That's Andy Stein. Yeah, nice. Beautiful. Thank you. Are you folks having a good time tonight? Oh, man, that's what I thought. All right, well, to keep the good times rolling, I could talk more and more and more, but I talk too much, I know. Pick up a free copy of this magazine, The Syncopated Times. It's right over there, and it talks about different bands and groups and singers who are keeping the music of the teens, 20s, 30s, and 40s alive. And it's the only magazine dedicated to that. And if you like it, maybe you'll subscribe to it. If not, well, you took one home. Less for me to carry. There you go. Nice. Okay. Now, I know do we have our guest vocalist here tonight? Is she here yet? Okay. Okay, good. I just want to make sure, because one of the things that I do in my life, which has been haunting me ever since I played the Dead Blazer or the Red Blister, whatever you want to call it, is I usually announce people and like, oh, they left, or they're in the bathroom, or they didn't show up tonight. So you be in the ready. We're gonna bring you up in a moment. We had a request for this last week, and it's the theme song of Red Nichols' band. It's called The Wail of the Winds, and it was written by a guy named Harry Warren. The guy who wrote 42nd Street and You're Getting to Be Had With Me and all kinds of other things. Real name was Salvador Gorenga. He's from Brooklyn, believe it or not. Worked at the Vitagraph Studios in my neighborhood. Anyway, saxophones, are you ready for some new music? Yes, drum roll, please. Nice, good, okay. So I got to deliver this as long distance, folks. When you're sending Media mail. Media mail is the way to do it cheap until they end that. But here it is. Here's piano and guitar. Okay, that's pretty close. Pretty close. Red Nichols from Ogden, Utah, got here to New York and was a great player. And is it still going? No, it's not going anymore. Okay, and here it is, Wail of the Winds, 2. 1, 2, 3, 4. Joe Boga. Joe Boga there on the wonderful Wail of the Winds by Harry Warren. Okay. All right, let's hand that one back in. And when are we going to play that one again, Peter? 2082. We'll play it again for you, whether you like it or not. We'll be older. Okay. We have in the audience tonight a lady who's just released a new CD. She's been doing a lot of singing over in Brooklyn, where I live, and occasionally she comes, sits in with Arndt and his little group, and she's got a wonderful little group called The Cranks, and it's Chrissy Nagy and The Cranks. So let's bring her up here.
Hello.
All right, you got the mic?
I got the mic, Mike.
Okay, all right. We're gonna do a little Am I Blue?
All right.
Right? And this was introduced by the great Ethel Waters in a Warner Brothers film. I believe it was Show of Shows, I think. On with the show. That's correct. I stand to be corrected. Okay. So I know we played a kind of a slow number. Could we play it a little faster than normal?
I love that.
So not too fast and not too slow. Kind of half-fast. Okay? 1, 2, B flat, guys.
Am I blue? Am I blue? Ain't these tears in my eyes eyes telling you, am I blue? You'd be too if each plan with your man done fall through. Was a time I was his only one. Now I'm the sad and lonely one. So lonely was I gay till today. Now he's gone and we're through. Ain't I blue?
Chrissy Nagy. Yes, Sam. How about little Arndt and Peter? Arndt and Peter do something here. I like it. All right, that's Peter and Arndt. All right, Chrissy, it's all yours.
Am I blue? Am I blue? Ain't these tears in my eyes telling you? Am I blue? You'd be too if each plan with your man done fall through. Was a time I was his only one. Now I'm the sad and lonely one. So lonely was I gay till today. Now he's gone and we're through. Ain't I blue?
How about Chrissy Nagy? Hey, tell me before you go, where are the Cranks playing next?
Well, it's funny you asked, Mike. The Cranks are playing this Saturday at a little place in Brooklyn called Giovanni's.
Giovanni's. Oh,
Which-
that nice Irish place.
That nice, fabulous Irish food. Great Italian food, actually.
Yeah, I was just kidding. I was kidding.
Yes. And the Chrissy and the Cranks, if you want to follow us, I lead my own band. I have nothing to hawk at the Hawks shopping network. But I guess you could follow me on Instagram. It's Chrissy with a K and the Cranks with a K. But we're also very cranky.
There you go. Thank you, Chrissy. How nice hand. Well, look at that. Well, what do you know about that? Okay. So I did the paper. You folks are doing okay. Good. Out there in this vast sea of darkness, I got a nice spotlight. I'm getting my vitamin D here. Is there any request out there in the worst way? Oh, wait a minute. Wait a minute. What was the first one? No, but there was someone else way back. Powerhouse. Okay, we can do Powerhouse. Okay. Okay, request time is over. And, sorry. Nagasaki is a tune we kind of finish off, and you don't want us to finish now, do you? No. Okay. So let's play a little Powerhouse for you folks. Okay. Just bear with us. We got to dig it out of the files here.
It's a nice little ballad.
26. Thank you. I thank you, Mr. Moon.
26 and 18.
Wow. All right. Getting there. Getting there. It's getting to look a lot like Christmas. Okay. Anyway. Okay. This comes from the pen of the great Raymond Scott. And Raymond Scott had this little ensemble in the 1930s. It was kind of indescribable. It wasn't really dance music. It wasn't jazz music. It was just interesting music, that's all. And he had a pretty good run. And then later on, in the 1950s, Carl Stalling at Warner Brothers said, hey, this music would be great in cartoons, Warner Brothers cartoons, and that's where I first heard it. Now, sitting with us tonight is the author of the cartoon music of Warner Brothers and also the book of Frank Sinatra and jazz singing, also a big writer, and he's done hundreds, if not thousands, of reviews and liner notes for LPs, no 78s. But Mr. Will Friedwald. Will Friedwald's here tonight with us. Hey, Wilski. Okay. So, I'm sorry we have a tight schedule, but Will is around for comments later, and you can check his blog. But here's Powerhouse. 1, 2, 1, 2. 2, 3, 2, 4, 2. Is that the one you wanted? We don't know that one. Okay. Nice. All right, here's a ballad from the 1920s. Now, ballads aren't exactly like they are today. Some of the ballads are really slow. This would be considered a ballad, and it's a beautiful tune written by Will Marion Cook, who was a classical violinist. and Donald Haywood, who wrote a lot of lyrics. There won't be any lyrics here. And Bick Spiderbeck and Frank Trumbar were both great fans of Ethel Waters. Ethel Waters was my favorite singer in the world. And in fact, when they went to see her at a nightclub, she sang this tune, and she was finished for the evening, and Bix was so, I don't know, just so bowled over that he took his entire wallet and kind of slid it on the floor and said, "Please keep singing." And Bix had a lot of money in that wallet. He was working for Paul Whiteman. Anyway, Ethel Waters introduced this in a show called Africana, and it's called "I'm Comin' Virginia." And it's a jazz ballad of sorts. Yeah, you know. Okay, all right, just making sure. Okay. 1, 2, 3, 4. All right, John Kelso there on that big solo, and that's Will Anderson playing that beautiful alto solo, and we should not forget Arndt Arnson playing all those Eddie Lang licks. The father of the jazz guitar, Eddie Lang, and all acoustic too, all acoustic. All right, we're going to play one more tune, and then we're going to bring our special group here going on. We haven't played any ragtime for you folks tonight. And this is probably the most famous piece of ragtime written by the great king of ragtime, and that's Scott Joplin. And he wrote this in 1899. And when we did a little stint on Boardwalk Empire, they asked us to play the Maple Leaf Rag. And I found this Herb Wiedoff recording that was done in 1921. And they called it the Fig Rag. I couldn't believe it. They ripped off Scott Joplin. He was just dead for 2 years. So Scott Joplin got the sting. If you watch the movie. Anyway, it's a joke inside of a joke, which is not too good. But anyway, here's our version of their version of the Maple Leaf Rag. 1, 2, 1, 2. Maple Leaf Rag by Scott Joplin. And that was Peter Yaron there on the piano. And you might note that the reed players picked up a shiny instrument. Well, there it is, yes. And it's not a metal clarinet, it's what they call a soprano saxophone. And, you know, most people think soprano saxophones, they think about Kenny G and, you know, who's gone to wonderful things. And, you know, in the early days of this band, like I said, when we used to work at the Red Blazer, Kenny G used to come and sit in with us, but he doesn't do that anymore. So we're not too sad. But what we've done is we've renamed these three guys Kenny X, Y, and Z. That's it. So if Kenny wants to come back, we'll definitely make him G, X, Y, and Z. And it's okay. I don't know what that spells. But right now, you guys have been blowing up a storm, and I think it's time to do our little salute to Django Reinhardt and Stefan Grappelli. Joe Boga, who's been playing that beautiful lead trumpet, is going to come back here and play the aluminum bass. Andy Stein's going to stay on the fiddle. Arndt's going to be on his guitar, and I'm going to play the pork chop. And that's on the menu later. And here it is. I wonder what we're
say the pork chop.
Pork chop. Yeah. Pork chop. Oh, man. Everything fell over here, Joe. Be careful. I don't want a lawsuit.
Yeah, you're okay.
Get a lawyer. Get Oswald.
Good luck, John.
Here we go. I'm almost there. Okay. Nice.
Y'all come back now here.
Here we go. All right. I'm going to make Andy Stein the leader.
Uh-oh.
Uh-oh, look out.
Moi,
Comment allez-vous?
Chevrolet Coupé Reservoir.
That's it.
We will for you to play une chanson de Fats Waller. Tu comprends? De Honeysuckle Rose.
Nice. Nice, okay. Wow. Thank you, Joe Boger. How about Joe Boger on that crazy? Now, let's see now.
Drum stop, very bad.
Yeah. Okay. Now, we spoke about the soprano saxophone, and one of the, I don't know, let's start over again. Let's re-roll the tape. One of the great band leaders who was very much admiring, hey, no more Nighthawk punch for me, too, will you? One of the great band leaders who admired Duke Ellington so much was Charlie Barnett. I know I would get this out right, and he loved the great Johnny Hodges, who played the soprano saxophone. So when Charlie Barnett got his band, he patterned it, a lot of it, you know, on some of the writings of Duke Ellington, and of course in his own way. And here's a tune that he wrote, and it features himself on the soprano saxophone. It always hits me as a big surprise because it comes out of nowhere, but it's a wonderful little tune called Skyliner. This is probably one of the more modern tunes that we have in the book outside of Axel F. But here we go. 1, 2, 1, 2. They said it couldn't be done, and maybe they were right. No, I'm just kidding. Yeah, that's Skyliner by Charlie Barnett. Thank you guys for playing some great music. Well, I'm sorry to say we've run out of time. Yes, we have. But this has been a great audience. You know, it's not a big audience. We call this the chosen few, like that. And it's the chosen and frozen. There you go. And we're so happy that you've come to Birdland, world's greatest jazz nightclub. There's such a legacy here starting in the 1940s. It's all the great people that have played here, singers and musicians, arrangers, even jazz critics. I'll say good things about everybody who supports live music and who supports this form of music. It's all helpful. Even a bad review is better than no review. That's what I always say. Just as long as they spell my name correctly. And with the name Giordano, you should see, Mr. Geronimo, yes. Or I had a lady come up to me when I was working the Cajun, or we called it the Caged Inn, and the woman says, oh, Vince, I love all that music you wrote for Peanuts, I said, if I wrote all that music for Peanuts, I wouldn't be here at the Cajun. But it's okay. Her heart was in the right place, and not her pocketbook. Anyway, we want to thank you again, and of all the audience, I've played so many audiences in 40 plus years, but in all the audiences that I've played for, and when I come through that curtain, I could feel that this was a special audience, and there was something, I don't know, just moving me and dynamic. But you are our most recent audience, and we appreciate that. So thank you. And our New Year's resolution, if people still make New Year's resolutions, we should try to encourage and, just spread the word to young people about live music, whether it's Broadway, cabaret, jazz, even rock and roll. If it's live music, live musicians playing, that's good. That's good, okay? Class dismissed. There you go. We're going to play a song right now and then take a break and come back next week. That's an awfully big break, I know. And this was the last tune that the Benny Moten Band recorded in 1932. They were in Camden, and there's all kinds of glorious stories about it, but I won't go into that because we're out of time. It's called Toby. It was written by Benny Moten, the pianist, and Eddie Bearfield, the amazing reed player. And both Dick Hyman and Mark Lopman worked on this. And here's Toby. Don't try this at home. 1, 2, 1, 2. Chris Myers. Peter Yaron. There we go, Mike.
Giordano and the Nighthawks. As Vince said, himself and the Nighthawks are here every Monday and Tuesday. So please come back and bring a friend. If you'd like to take the music home with you, there are CDs, LPs, and the Anderson Brothers book up at the front. Going on up in the upper level, George Coleman and his band are up there. If you'd like to stay, there is no additional music charge. However, a minimum does apply. We here at Birdland want to thank you for coming out to support live music,